Today we're still working on graphing linear equations in two variables. Remember yesterday we were working on graphing linear equations, and we have the graphic here, and this is x axis, this is y, and yesterday we are finding the y-intercept, and we find here the y-intercept. Then we find over there on the x-axis the x-intercept. And with these 2 points, we were able to draw a line and to find the graphic of the equation. Remember yesterday, we've done this. We wrote the table here, and the x and y, and we made x equals 0, find y, and then we make y equals 0 and find x. This is what we have done yesterday. Today you're going to see something a little bit different. Check out this equation. Because now, instead of having one y-intercept and another x-intercept, like here, now we're going to have this. The y-intercept is going to be here, the y-intercept, and the x-intercept is going to be also here, x-intercept. Both points in the same location at the origin, and with having actually just 1 point, right? You're going to have just 1 point. And then you cannot have a graph, you cannot have a line with just 1 point. And that's the situation we're going to find for this equation. I would like to ask you, what should I do now? What should I do now that I don't have 2 points to make a line, to draw a line? I have just 1 point. Now let me erase this. I don't need this anymore. Let me erase this. Help me out. How can I solve this? And I have the equation y equals 1/2 of x. If I try to make x equals 0, then y is going to be 0. If I try to make y equals 0, then x equals 0. I have just 1 point. Give me some help. Give me some guidance here. What should I do? I'm going to give you a clue. I need to assume, I need to give other values here for, let's say, x. What kind of number can I assume for x? Can I make x equals 2 to calculate y? Give me a suggestion. And Kalia said 1. Any other suggestions? Let's make it 1. That's a good one, good suggestion. Let's make it x equals 1. I'm going to calculate here. Y equals 1/2 times 1. That means y equals 1/2, half. And now I have another point. I have point 1 and 1/2. Any more suggestions? Actually, I can use any number at all. Give me another suggestion. Guillaume, Adrian, sorry, excuse me. Adrian suggested number 2. Kalia suggested 0. But Kalia, 0 is a problem because I've tried here. I tried 0. If I use 0, I'm just going to have the same result. I'm going to have y equals 0. And 0 is not going to help me. I need a different number, any number different from 0. And Adrian suggested 2. 2 is a good one. Let's try here. Number 2. X equals 2. So y equals 1/2 times 2. And we simplify, that means y equals to 1. Now we have another point here. Let me make more space. I need more space. I move this up a little bit. I moved this up. All right, no problem. 1. Great, now I have, at least I have 0 and 0, 1 and the point x equals 1 and y equals 1 over 2, and another point x equals 2 and y equals 1. Now I think I can have the graph. Now I can plot the graph. Let's try. I'm cleaning this up. Actually, I think I need to close this and open again. It's not working. Just 1 quick minute. Now we have this. We can actually, with these points, we're going to be able to draw the graph. We're going to be able to find the graphic of the equation. And the first one is going to be 0, 0. X equals 0, y equals 0. Then we have another one, x equals 1. Actually, let's make some space here. X equals 1. And y equals 1 over 2. That half is between 0 and 1. Somewhere here, right? And that's another point. 0, 0. And this is 1. 1.5, and now I have another one, 2 and 1. 2 is here, and 1 is right here. This is 2, 2 and 1. We have 3 points. We can draw the line now. And this is the line that represents the equation y equals 1 over 2 times x. And we managed to find out the line because we assumed x equals 1 and found y, and x equals 2 and found y. Okay? Questions so far? If you didn't understand this quite well, we're going to practice. We're going to work on the quiz and maybe going to be able to visualize and to understand a bit better. But basically, in this particular situation, only finding the x-intercept and the y-intercept, as we did yesterday, is not going to be enough. You have to assume different numbers, different values for x to be able to find a new point, another point. And Kali is asking, it's hard when you don't have an actual graph with you. Do you mean when you don't have this kind of thing? Let me erase this a little bit. You mean when you don't have this? Clear. When you don't have this to plot? Don't have graph paper? Yes, I agree. Yeah, you need to have at least some kind of paper. If you have even regular paper, like this, let me show, like this kind of paper here, you can do your graph like this, but actually with graph paper it's much easier. It's much easier. I agree with you, Khalid. Anyways, try using a paper, plain paper, and then you draw the axis, you draw each number. It's not going to be perfect, but at least is going to be you will be able to graph and to compare with the questions, with the graphs that we have on the questions of the quiz. You just need to have some kind of scratch paper at least. Moving on. Yeah, I agree, Clea. Moving on. I'm not gonna, this is the solution we have here in the PowerPoint. I'm gonna talk about horizontal and vertical lines tomorrow. because this is it's kind of easy, and I want to have time today to work on the quiz. And actually, right now, let's talk about interpreting the x and y intercept of a line. And this is the example, the application in real life of graphing linear equations in two variables to calculate depreciation of assets. And to see this, to see how this works, let's go back to our Bell work, okay? Let's go back to our Bell work, and then you're going to be able to see how this works. And again, the Bell work, let me read to you. The J.M. Gus Trucking Company purchased a new truck for $66,000. The truck depreciates at $5,500 per year. How long it will take for the truck to be worth less than 1 cent? That means how long, in how many years, for the truck to be worthless. And type your answers, type your guesses. So the answer here is going to be 12 years. This is the depreciation, right? Just quick. A review, $66,000 is going to depreciate. This is the value of the asset, the time in years. And at this point here, with 12 years, is the maximum depreciation. $66,000 divided by 5,500. Great, equals 12 years. Great, moving on. The answer here is going to be 12 years. Let's work together now on the quiz. We're going to have plenty of time to work on the quiz. And today we have two parts. The quiz have two parts. The first one is this. We have to find the correct graph of the following equations. And we have the equations here, A, B, C, D, E, and F. And you have to find the correct graph. And you're gonna, on the Microsoft Forms, you're gonna answer, you're gonna fill out with the number of the graph. You have here the number of the graph, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, okay? The way you're going to do this, let me get this first example here of letter A. Letter A, we have y equals 1 over 2 times x minus 1, okay? And we're going to graph. We're going to graph, and the first step is to draw the table x and y. Assume x equals 0, find y. Assume y equals 0, find x. Okay? This first one, x equals 0, that means y equals 1 over 2 times 0 minus 1. The result here is going to be y equals -1. So you fill out, you have x equals 0, y equals -1. The next, y equals 0. So 0 equals 1 over 2 times x minus 1. And we're going to have to apply here addition property, right? We want to get rid of this -1 here. So add 1 on both sides. Add 1 on both sides. Then you have 1 equals half times x, and this is 0. Multiply. Now we multiply both sides by 2 to get rid of this 1/2, right? Multiply both sides by 2. And the solution here is going to be x equals 2 times 1, 2. This is 2. And Matt is asking, wait, so a is equals y equals -1. Yeah, for this this point, this point, when x equals 0, y equals -1. But this is not the answer yet, Mari. Just wait a minute. This is not the answer yet. We are just building the table, and now we're going to apply on the graph. Just wait a quick minute. We're going to see in the graph. We found the table. This is the table. See? This is the table that we're going to use to graph the equation. Now let's go to the graph. We have the table here. Let's apply the table on the graph. And the first point, x equals 0, y equals -1. X equals 0, y equals -1. Y equals -1. So this is the first point. 0 and -1. The next point, we have x equals 2, y equals 0. X equals 2, y equals 0. This is the next point. Now we have 2 points, we can draw the line. See, this is the line. Now, to answer the question, you're going to compare this graphic here that you drew with the options. And if you check it out, the option that goes through -1 and 2 is going to be option number 2. Okay? So A, the answer for A is number 2. That's right, clear. A is number 2. Now I give you a few minutes so you can work by yourselves, and then we get back and work a few questions more. You can type here your answers. I'm going to confirm if it's right, if it needs to be fixed. And Kalia got it right, the first one, and also Mahdi was working on it. But we check it out here. A equals 2 is the first one. Now try the next one, B, C, D, E, and F. And later we're going to work on the second part of the quiz.